All right, so I've got my two poses, and I want to animate him just moving very quickly to his right here. So I'm going to go in about midway here and add this little sort of in-between frame, give him some anticipation up into that final pose. And then what I'm going to do is at the end where he hits his final pose, I always like to give myself some frames to work within. So I'll just go a couple frames, create a frame, couple more frames, couple more, maybe 3 frames. It just gives me a lot of real estate to work within. And then of course, I'm going to set all those to flat tangent because I love flat tangents. So now what I'm going to do is let's start with this base control here. And let's give him some bounce when he reaches that final pose. He's not just going to stick in place. Once he reaches that final pose, let's give him a little bounce here. So I'm just working with that one translate Y control. And you see I'm using my weighted flat tangents. And I'm just sculpting a little bit of a bounce there at the end. Now, the other thing I want to do is I'm just going to grab that X translate and I want to give my character a little moving hold. When he hits that frame at the end, we don't want him to just stop. So let's play with that X translate and just give him a little bit of a drift. And you can see how I'm doing this, right? It's very fluid. Like it's very sort of just, yeah, maybe let's try that. Let's try this. I love that part of the process. You're just feeling it out. Maybe that needs to come up a little higher. Maybe all of this needs to come up a little higher. See? And you see that nice little drift now that I have towards the end? And I'll go in and I'll refine it some more. Now, let's go to the head here. Click on that road. You don't want this shot to feel too cartoony. You would be surprised how much you can stretch those feet up into a jump and still have it feel really natural. But I do that all the time, and it's really fun. Okay, and that's how that looks after I've done the squash and stretch on the feet. Now, when I'm done doing, you'll notice in the graph editor, that's a mess. It looks like a total mess there. At this point, when I'm at the end of my animation, I don't care. I'm not even looking at the graph editor anymore. I'm very conscious of it at the beginning. When I'm pulling my weighted tangents, right? Yep, sculpting. Yeah, of course. It's very important. But here at the end where I'm baking everything on ones, don't even worry about it. It's the viewport. I'll put a motion trail on that. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm just breaking it away from the main body control slightly. Gives you that nice texture. The more you can break up the upper and lower body in these transitional things, the better. Sometimes we get too stuck, like the entire body mass is just this one mass. There's a lot of movement you can have fun with if you're in a breath. It can be very effective here. So watch how I do this. This is a very subtle thing. And it's just a slight application. I don't have this in my reference. Okay, this isn't in my reference. And I just say, so what if it's not in your reference? You know me by now. Push beyond that reference. It gives me something to go from. If it's rotated back slightly at the beginning and then rotates forward on the breath, just adds a little texture, a little twist. Isn't that nice? Kind of plays with everything that's happening there. And this twist can happen in either direction. Or not at all. Okay, it's up to you. But I really enjoy doing this in my work. If you remember from class 1, there was some rotation in Moana that I talk about. I do it all the time. Okay, next, I'm going to add a little compression. Compression in this breathing. This is my sweetening pass for breathing. Don't always need to do this, but I think about doing this a lot. And you don't have to do this as the last step. As everything starts collapsing or rotating down, the lower body actually goes the opposite direction, creating some nice squashing, anticipatory compression. Now, this can be easily overdone in your work. Granted, you don't want to overdo this, but you can see how as that chest and upper body sinks, that lower body comes up and it compresses together. And I think it just gives a nice feel and just an organic feel to your work. Wink, give it a little overshoot. Isn't that nice? Boink. And you'll see it here in a minute when I play it all together, but it just adds that little bit of texture. Okay? So here it is, a little side by side. My name is Hyrum Osmond, and I hope you'll join me for my animation master class.